Right, how should we start this?
I don't know. Say hello in as many different languages as you can. That'd be really impressive, and people might think we're intelligent. First impressions and all that. Go 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, hey, ciao, bonjour, guten tag, hola, namaste, merhaba, sia, jambo, ni hao, diadut, yasu, and salute. Way.
Hello and welcome to our very first Eurovision Hub podcast. My name is Louis.
And my name is Miceal. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
So, how did we meet?
Which story shall we go with? Nah, I'm only joking. We've known each other for about 7 years, I think, because we did go to the same school, but you were a couple of years below me. But we only started talking properly, I think, earlier this year. It was when, remember, I approached you about doing the podcasts and, well, this Eurovision Hub.
Yeah.
I'd always known you liked Eurovision because we followed each other on Twitter and stuff like that. Like, when it came to May every year, I would always look out for your tweets, but we never spoke in real life because, you know, who does that? It's not cool to speak in real life, is it?
Yeah, well, whenever you approached me about the idea, you know, I did love it. And between us, I think we do have a good bit of knowledge and our opinions in the contest as well. So, you know, why not?
Exactly. It's been a long time coming, though. Do you remember sitting in Costa Coffee with our blank notepads and we were trying to brainstorm ideas for this way back in April, was it, I think?
Yeah, we would actually never end up getting anything done because we just talked about the contest, our favourites, and, well, that's when we discovered that, firstly, we have completely different tastes in music, and secondly, that we were talking about all this stuff and we should actually be recording it and making it into a podcast, but that was never our first idea, was it?
No, exactly. I mean, we toyed around with the idea, but our focus at the time, I think, was to create just a Eurovision fan site, but with a 2017 twist or something like that. You know, something to appeal to everyone and something a bit more interactive. But, I mean, you talked about a Eurovision documentary at one stage. You talked about renting a car and getting everyone involved and travelling around Europe.
Yeah, but that would be class, you have to admit.
It would.
And I also did talk about the hot air balloon, which is definitely going to happen, by the way.
Oh, you talked about that hot air balloon more than once. But so you can already tell that we've got quite outlandish ideas, but the podcast was never actually up there as one of them. But as we kept meeting, we noticed how our conversations they seemed to flow, and well, our opinions didn't seem to flow anyway, did they?
I mean, well, we do have some things in common, but a lot of our time, our opinions do clash, which I'm sure you'll hear about us talking later in the show, especially when we try to choose our favourite entries of all time.
Yeah.
But yeah, after several meetings in Costa, we decided that a podcast would be an amazing platform for us to share our thoughts and opinions, and a place for other fans to let their voice be heard too.
Exactly, and I also think that in the Eurovision community, we don't hear enough about the Eurovision Song Contest in like a deeper manner or some sort of academic way, because, you know, there's 60 years of history there to be broken down and examined. So I think I'd like the podcast to be a place where we can talk about things like the socio and political and economic realities of Europe, as well as, you know, the larger conceptual frameworks about what Europe is and what the contest actually means to Europeans.
I mean, we're still going to have fun, aren't we?
I mean, yes, they're still going to be fun, but
yeah, I agree. Since the contest started in 1956, it has been a symbolic contact zone between European cultures, almost like a stage, if you will, for European identification, a stage where the cultural and political struggles over the meanings, the frontiers, the limits, all the similarities, all the differences in Europe, you know, they're all highlighted in this one event. It's great.
Exactly. So, as well as us sharing our opinions on the national selection songs and the Eurovision entries themselves, past and present, we will also definitely not shy away from, you know, the controversial and unique perspectives or the ideas of the Eurovision Song Contest itself, or its impact on Europe and its surrounding areas over the past 60 plus years.
Yeah, so as we said earlier, that this podcast is only one part of the Eurovision Hub site. Don't be a stranger and check out the rest of the site. You'll find reaction videos featuring fans from all across the world reacting to past, present Eurovision entries. You'll also find academic articles by Sam, and he's our own Professor Eurovision here, and he'll be making a few appearances on this podcast in a couple of weeks, in a couple of episodes.
Yep.
And we will also have a very top secret project launching soon, but I can't really say any more about that at the minute.
Yeah, so this is our podcast. This is our brand new, smashing, insightful, and informative podcast, which is out every 2 weeks, guys. So we hope that you will be entertained and join us for a good old chat about the Eurovision Song Contest.
You know, I'm always really interested to hear people's stories about how they first got into the Eurovision contest and when they became fans of it.
Okay then, so why don't you start us off? How did you get into the contest?
Well, I think the first real contest that I remember was in 2004, and that was the year Ruslana from Ukraine won.
Yep.
And I remember, I don't think I even knew about it before, but I watched a bit of it and I saw her and I saw these weird and wonderful acts, and I just thought that this is the first time I've seen this. You know, you don't hear it in mainstream radio, especially here in Ireland, and it really, every year then I watched it and I became more invested in it. I loved it, and I knew a lot of people that I knew didn't actually like it, so I had to keep it to myself. But I always had, as you said earlier, I had my Twitter that every May I would tweet about 60 tweets a minute, and I got a lot of unfollows, but that was only my kind of outlet.
Yep.
So what about you? Because I know yours was 2004 as well, your first contest.
Yeah, my first contest watching it like as a fan was 2004, but my first and earliest memory of the Eurovision, I think, was 1999 when Sweden won, actually.
Hold on tight forever. Take me to your heaven.
I remember catching the recap, the voting, and I remember seeing Dana International fall. I think she was pretending to like say it was really, really heavy, and she was handing it over to Charlotte Nielsen, and I remember thinking, whoa, this isn't just any old Saturday night TV show. But I started getting into it properly when Ireland launched Eurostar. Do you remember that? It was the TV show set up to find the next Irish entry for the Eurovision, and it had the whole nation hooked. And from then onwards, I remember like taking such a huge interest. And for me, it came at such a good time when the music scene in the UK and Ireland, it was turning like towards a really indie pop rock vibe, and I just wasn't about it at all. So I think Eurovision for me was an escape at the time from all the bland music that was in the charts. But for me, I loved the spectacle of the contest. I loved that for most of the countries, it seemed that they'd put their all into those 3 minutes that they had on stage. It was eye-catching, memorable, and it made me feel closer to Europe somehow. I don't know why, but I always felt just that bit closer. From then on, I've been borderline obsessed every year to the point where I watched nearly every country's national selection, and I've actually even attended the Swedish Melody Festival 3 times, which was an amazing show. Big shout out to SVT. You guys know how to smash the national selection. Good job. I have got maybe one of the most difficult questions that you could ever ask a Eurovision Song Contest fan.
Oh, great.
Are you ready?
No.
No, but really, I'm going to ask you, have you got an actual all-time favourite Eurovision entry?
No. I don't think anyone does, you know.
No.
It changes all the time. Changes every year, changes every week. You know, if you're listening to a different one, you might learn it more and you like it more. But I'll narrow it down to 2 maybe. I think Helena Paparizou is one of my favourite.
Yep.
But you know I love him. It's Alexander Rybak.
I'm in love with a fairy tale, even though it hurts.
I do love him. Fairy Tale. It was fantastic. I think that has to be up there.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
but what about you? I know it's not easy, but you have about 1,500 songs to choose from. So
Yeah.
can you give me one?
Yeah, as you said, like 1,560 years to choose from, but you're right, it's not easy. I think for me, actually, the closest song to me and a song that won and that allowed me to end up actually going to the contest the following year was Helena Paparizou, my number 1.
You are the one, you're my number 1, the only treasure I'll ever have.
Good choice.
Yeah, actually for Christmas 2005, my mum and dad gave me the present of going to Athens the next year and actually going to the contest. I was shooketh. Because I had asked to go to the contest for so long, but I never actually thought they'd turn around and say, yeah, okay. So my mum was happy because she was getting to go on a holiday to Greece, and I mean, I was obviously happy. But this song is one that not only I loved, but my mum loved. She would play it in the car when we would go out, and my friends actually listened to it as well. And it just summed up what Eurovision meant to me. And some of my other favourites, though, because as you said, it's definitely not easy. Ruslana Wild Dances. You know, I actually had her album, and I used to walk around telling people that I could sing Ukrainian. And it was my granny's birthday, like that year or the year after she won, and I was like, Dad, can you tell everyone that I can sing Ukrainian? And my dad was like, no? And I was like, Dad, please, like, it sounds really cool. And he was like, oh God. But I also loved Kate Ryan, 2006, Shoot That Door. Golden Boy, Israel, 2015.
That was golden.
Such a good song. And 2014, Calm After the Storm.
Yeah, to name a few anyway.
To name a few, definitely. You know, I find it so difficult to put into words what makes a good Eurovision song. Like, for example, if I put the question to you, what would you say? What makes a good Eurovision song?
I mean, there's so many different things, and it changes every year as well. It's never the same thing, but I reckon I could, put it into a couple of points. Firstly, you need a good melody that's catchy, because you need to be singing it all the time. Then you need a good beat, a good rhythm underneath it.
Yeah.
Then you need a good singer as well.
True.
You really do, and you need to have good staging. You have to have the wind machines. I'm sorry, and the key changes definitely have to be there.
Oh yeah.
And I do like something cultural in the background. If it's an accordion or like a harpsichord or something just in the background, it'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
But what about you? To make it easier, what do you not like?
Okay, so yeah, probably me telling you what I don't like could make it easier for me to get around or get a better idea of what I think makes a good Eurovision song. Okay, so I just don't like it when it seems the country participates for the sake of participating, in the hopes that they will just sail through on a mediocre song, and that has happened so many times recently. I feel like every year there are so few countries where they just seem to have given up or they can't be bothered. So for me, I love it when a country comes to the contest with a fantastic package, the singer or the group, the song and the staging, so everything's just there and not lazy.
Yeah, I think, I know definitely you love finding out what the song means, the lyrics.
Yeah.
But I, for one, I really don't like slow songs, and most of the slow songs, the ballads, they are meaningful, but I just don't like that. They're not for me. For me, Eurovision is all upbeat, it's fun, has energy, it's got unicorns all around the stage, That's what people think Eurovision's all about.
Okay, people think that's what it's about, and it is an element of it, but that's what gives the contest its gimmicky label, which is okay. We all need a bit of fun and, the random unicorn, but I don't like it when it seems that they're completely making a joke of the contest, which I felt like Irlande du Squad did back in 2008. You remember Dustin the Turkey?
Yeah, I love the fun, but it needs to be fun with a good song. I don't like people taking the piss out of the contest, like Ukraine did in 2007.
Do you think... I don't think she was. I think she was using Eurovision as a platform to say what she wanted to say. But I'll leave it at that.
I think she was, but as well, in Russia 2012, the Grammys. Of course they were.
Lou, the grannies were serious. Were they not? They were becking on stage, okay, but they're busy women, they've had a long day at work, and they've got a few things to do, they've got to cook for their families. So you know what? They've just brought the oven on stage, and they're just going to bake there.
No, it's not. If you check out the lyrics, which you're supposed to do because you love the meanings of songs, they actually mention they light the oven, they put out tablecloth and stuff, and they bake. They're baking something for their children to come home, and then whenever they eat together, then they have a good time and they party for everybody and stuff like that. So it is. They actually are baking.
Oh, well, hello, new fact of the day.
But I think you're going to kill me for this, but I would rather the Grammys win over Euphoria in 2012. You know?
What?
Why can't this moment last forever?
Are you joking?
No.
Louis, come on.
I just didn't like Lorraine, and 2012 was one of my favourite years. Actually, it was my favourite year, and there were so many other songs I preferred to win. You know, Turkey could have won, Cyprus could have won, Greece could have won, Romania should have won. Romania definitely should have won.
No, come on. Euphoria, I think, this is only my opinion, but for me it was like a turning point in Eurovision. It was a time when non-fans of the contest, they stood up and they paid attention. They added Euphoria to their playlists, you know, they played at clubs, and I think it was the start of a new chapter for the Eurovision, in my eyes anyway. It took Eurovision down a new mainstream path, which I think it's somewhere that Eurovision should be going to a certain degree.
No.
A certain degree, not the whole way.
No, Miceal, I hate mainstream. The whole point I got into Eurovision was because the mainstream was and then if Eurovision becomes mainstream, oh my god, no. You need to harness your culture. You need to exploit what your country's all about. For example, Ireland, you know, bring on the Irish dancers, bring on the according and the fiddle.
No, Louis. No. Like, we know how that worked out in 2014 for Ireland with Heartbeat.
Keep your head high above the water. We can make it and break the border.
First, can I say, I loved that song. Like, I thought it was so good. It was one of my favourites, but the staging, so bad.
No, bring on the culture. The contest,
No.
it is not about sending a song that you think might win. It's not about that. It's about getting your culture seen. It's about getting it heard around the world,
Oh my
building
God,
bridges
no.
and all that.
No, I couldn't disagree more with you if I tried, but before this gets any further, shall we just agree to disagree on this one? I mean,
For now.
for now, okay.
So, every week, we're going to have a small section in our show called Trivia Time, and this is going to be based on the topics that we have discussed on the show. So, saying this is our first show, and we've talked about Eurovision in general, our trivia facts are going to be based on Eurovision in general, the whole way from 1956 to now. So,
Okay.
Miceal, do you want to go first?
Yep. So, I don't expect you to know this one, but you can try guess the name of the country whose all 5 winners haven't been from the country. So that means there is a country who has won the Eurovision 5 times, but none of those winners were actually from the country. Interesting.
Oh, what? I have no idea.
Come on. I mean,
What about Monaco?
nope.
Andorra?
No.
Turkey?
No. Should I just tell you?
Yeah, I don't even know who's won 5 times.
Okay, so the powerhouses of back in the day, Luxembourg, they had 4 French winners and 1 Greek winner. It's a smashing fact, isn't
That's
it?
quite good, yeah.
Smashing.
I've got a better one.
Alright,
But
then.
you might know it actually, I'm scared. 1974,
Yep.
ABBA.
But yep.
So, what country would give what people think is the best Eurovision act of all time?
Yeah.
Who would give them 0 points?
That actually happened. 0 points. That is harsh. Whoever you are, jokes, I think I know.
Of course.
But imagine not being able to recognise a smash like Waterloo. But like, I think I know this. Was it the UK?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
UK, shame on you. Come on.
That just sums up their whole Eurovision history.
Oh, so I've got a final piece of Eurovision trivia here. So, Louis, try and guess what the most covered Eurovision song in history is.
Have to know this. We just talked about it. Waterloo.
What if I said you're incorrect?
I wouldn't believe you.
Well, you have to, because the answer is Volare. Covered by Dean Martin, Cliff Richard, and David Bowie.
What a song as well.
Exactly.
And the games continue.
Yo,
It's now time for the part of the show that we like to call Guess,
guess
the,
the intro. Yo, I didn't think that would work, but
It's very self-explanatory. One of us will play the first 10 seconds of a Eurovision song, and the other has to guess the song title, the country, and the year. So, Miceal, you're up first. You ready?
oh yeah, born ready.
Can out tonight.
Yo. This was robbed in 2016. This was... I Hear Them Calling. Iceland. And yeah, it was robbed. How did that not qualify? The stage... stop talking. Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes.
I hear them calling me, I hear them whispering. Hello, hello, Mr. Fighter. Look, there we go again. Go get us though.
Say yeah, yeah, yeah. Spain. Boom. You don't need to tell me it's correct. Next song.
You made it so easy to fall.
I mean,
Brian McFadden.
this is Brian McFadden. This is Ronan Keaton. This is everybody. No, what this is mind blank 2009 Denmark.
Believe again.
Believe Again, and it's like Brink.
Well, I think that's 3.
I think I
yeah.
absolutely smashed it. Good job. High five to me. You're up. Okay, Louis, are you ready?
Yes.
Song number 1.
Blackbird, blackbird, don't sing to me. Don't sing below my window.
Thankfully, they gave me the words. Good.
They did.
I'm not good at this game, but that was Blackbird, and that was as recent as 2017, wasn't Finland?
It was. Good job.
Whew.
Smashed it.
At least I got one.
At least you got one. That's one.
Blackbird, don't sing. White lightning up on us again. The walls now paper thin.
I mean, I have to know this, don't I? It's Ireland.
It is. I don't know why I'm surprised, but okay.
People are going to think this is fixed. Ireland, Heartbeat, and it's 2014.
2014. Again, these are some good songs, and they were just robbed.
I know, and oh.
I have no idea what that is.
What?
How can you know what that is from that intro?
I mean, I like the song, so I know, but
Yeah, but you're also picking it, so you know what it's called. I have no idea. It's a pass from me.
Belgium 2015. Louis, Rhythm Inside. Shall I play a bit of the chorus and you might
Yes,
remember it?
please.
We're gonna wrap up, we're gonna wrap up tonight.
And if we die tomorrow, what do we have to show?
I mean, if you gave me that part, I would have guessed it.
I mean, but that defeats the purpose of the game.
It
Come on.
does.
So, who's this week's winner?
It's you.
It's me!
3-2.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to have to get people on to play you.
I think so. I welcome anybody. You can message us. Come on and challenge me to the intro game.
I'm gonna get that rhythm back.
Okay, guys, so that's it for the first ever Eurovision Hub podcast. Thank you so much for listening. One last thing before we go. In episode 2, in episode 2, we are going to have a segment called Question Time, where you guys can send in your questions. They can be about us, they can be about the website,
Yep.
they can be about the contest,
Yep.
anything at all within reason.
Yeah.
And we will try and read as many of your questions and get them out on the podcast as soon as we can.
Yes, and you can send your questions to us via email, which is hello@eurovisionhub.com. Or you can send us your questions via our social media platforms by searching for us at Eurovision Hub.
So thanks again for listening. See you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Yeah. Bye, guys.